Hey everyone. Oh, it is so good to be back. I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving week and were able to celebrate with the people you care about most. And I hope you all had a safe travels because I know that many of you probably traveled different places, even short distances, but I hope everybody is safe and sound and gearing up for the rest of this year and the holidays. So I thought today I would love to get into, this was like crazy. We have a cabin up north and we went up there for Thanksgiving, and it's just a quiet, the four of us, because all of our family is still back in Illinois and some Nebraska family. And so our Thanksgiving is always a very low key, real quiet, football, which it didn't disappoint. There were 3 NFL games that day, and we were all in tune to that while we munched on food throughout the day. The irony of the Thanksgiving weekend is I love getting just even our family together and creating the tradition of big meals, and even though it's only 4 of us. And what ends up happening is I go full on, and we don't go up to our cabin too often, and so it was a mess. So I spent most of the first 2 days up there just cleaning, and then grocery shopping, and then baking, and then cooking, and then cleaning up. But as an amputee, what I have noticed is that can royally piss off my leg, my residual limb. And sometimes it's just that I'm really tired, and that happens. This time, unfortunately, I struck a really weird nerve, and I think I actually maybe pinched a nerve in my back, and I was miserable for at least 2-3 days, Thanksgiving Day, and then a couple days after, where I didn't sleep at all. One night was probably the worst night I have spent as an amputee, and that's saying something. And maybe it's like, when you give birth and it hurts and you forget about those moments, but I'm sure that the first week or so of being an amputee was tough. I remember having some phantom pains rear up right off the bat, but what ended up happening with this past week was, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I always thought that the other couple days, I had 2 other times where I had the pinched nerve. And for those of you that are amputees, or you've had a pinched nerve in your back where it runs down your legs, it is catastrophic, right? For wrecking your sleep and your mood and your vibe. And when you're an amputee, I think what I've noticed, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty in tune to my body. When you pinch a nerve and it runs down your hamstrings and makes you have like your nonstop leg movement and a lot of pain, when you're an amputee and it runs down your residual limb and it doesn't know where to go from there, I don't know, it is like the great disaster. It is a trifecta of pains, and nothing helps, nothing feels good. I couldn't lay on my stomach, couldn't lay on my side, couldn't lay on my back at night. What I found actually helped was sitting off the edge of my bed. Yes, you heard that. Sitting off the edge of my bed, one leg over the edge of the bed, one leg just sticking off the edge of the bed, and just sitting upright, like best posture ever, sitting upright in the middle of the night. And it took me forever to figure that out. And when I say forever, I'm talking, it was hours and hours of tossing and turning, then grabbing my crutches and going into the other room so I could sit in a chair. That didn't work. Then I tried to kneel in front of the chair, but arching my back was shooting pains. And then I came back and tried to lay down. Nope, that wasn't going to work. So then I ended up figuring out sitting up in bed because I didn't know what else to do. And it was like, 3 a.m. But then I started dozing off on the edge of the bed, and I was afraid I was going to fall off the bed. So I laugh about that now. It was no laughing matter. I was almost in tears. I was feeling completely crazy, like lack of sleep, lack of finding a place that felt good. I thought I was losing it. And so after sitting like that for a little while, and I took some aspirin, which I haven't taken anything for any kind of pain in forever. So I don't know if the aspirin helped or just finally sitting in one position for a little while relaxed things. I don't know. But then I just slowly laid on my side on my bed to see how it felt. And I didn't feel any pain and I didn't move. I just closed my eyes and I finally got some sleep. So Thanksgiving Day, the next day was interesting. My pain level on a 1 to 10 scale was probably off the charts 11. It has been a very long time since I have felt that crappy. And I'm just thankful that it's over. And, the whole time that I was going through that, I kept thinking about everything I always tell you guys on this podcast. And there's a season for everything. And when it's bad, it can be really bad. But if you can remember that good times are coming, and that everything goes in waves, good to bad, bad to good, that it's just a matter of time that you have to just fight it out. It will not be forever. And it has held true once again. Like all of a sudden we were driving home the day after Thanksgiving and I was in pain. I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to make an hour and a half drive with 2 dogs on my lap. I couldn't sit still anywhere. I mean, standing was the only option for me on Wednesday and Thursday. Sitting in any way, shape, or form did not feel good. With my leg on, with my leg off, didn't matter. So I was really concerned about the drive home. The first 45 minutes was miserable, and I just tried to grin and bear it and think of something else in my head because I had nothing to do but think about it, right? And I always tell you guys, distraction's better, but when you're stuck in a chair or in a car, you really have not much else to distract yourself with. And like a great husband, my husband let us stop at a Starbucks so that I could get a coffee. That was my distraction. And sure enough, we started talking about other things and caffeine kicked in. And the next thing I know, I was great. Got home, great. Never felt it again. It was weird. But again, it held true to what I always say that, you appreciate the good times. And I'll tell you what, when that pain wasn't there, I was off and running. I was doing the things I want to do. And I was just so, so thankful for the good times. And, I just thought, okay, I was doing stuff to help my family and I was trying to serve them, right? And so I thought, we've been talking about giving thanks and what comes and goes in waves like pain and bad days and hard times that are followed up with good times and lack of pain in those moments. And I always talk about distracting yourself. When things aren't going right, the worst thing you can do is just sit and mull over everything going wrong in your life or the pains that you feel. I mean, there is nothing that makes pain more aggressive than thinking about it or even talking about it. And I didn't understand the talking about it part until I was with my first PT, in-home PT, directly after my surgery, before I started going to my actual PT, my outpatient PT. And that PT just said, sometimes what I tell people is when you sit there and think about it and talk about your pain, it actually makes it worse. And I truly believe that, because what happens when you're talking about it? Well, you're reliving it. And when you're reliving it, you're like in the moment, and all you're doing is recreating the memories that you were feeling and what you are feeling and making them have a voice, right? And when you have a voice to your pain, it's really hard to deny it. It's very strong and it's very powerful. So I always talk about speaking kindly to yourself, giving yourself some grace in the hard times, but really enjoying the good times when they come, even if they aren't perfect or normal, quote unquote normal, because I said there really is no such thing as normal, but normal for you. Those are the moments when you just want to grab hold and live your best life, because inevitably those moments will fade and hard times will come, pain will come back, and things will happen. And so, you ride the wave. And I'll use that metaphor a lot because it's so, so true. And every time I go through something, I think about these podcasts where I've spoken about this and realize that I take a piece from my own playbook, so to speak, a page from my own playbook, because all I have to do is remember, if I can just find something to distract myself long enough to get through this pain, I know it'll eventually end. It's not going to be forever. So, that being said, that was the kind of week I had last week. And this week is not much different, because we're now getting into the holiday seasons. This is the time that I love to arts and crafts and things like that. I make things for friends, and I want to do parties, and I want to be a part of things, and I want to live the rest of this year with gusto. And I don't ever do anything half-assed. It is always full-blown. So that being said, this is why this is going out later than normal, because I was up really late last night prepping for a party this weekend, and having a blast. Yes, there's a little bit in my head that says, if you're going hard, are you going to go through this again sooner than you want? So I've been going to the gym for my own mental health, but also for my physical health, and strengthening my back and making sure that I'm core strength is there and everything like that, so that I can support myself better. Because when our core and our back are strong, then those are the points that are disabling. If I have pain, I think it usually generates in my hips or my lower back, because as an amputee, if I'm not comfortable in my leg for any moment during the day, I tend to what they call hip up, and I pull my hip up a little bit to compensate for maybe thinking I might trip on my foot that I can't feel or maneuver. So when that happens, or when I'm running around really fast places, I will do that, because I don't want to have to think about how much clearance I have on my foot. So that ends up causing problems with my hips, my back, things like that. So I strengthen my core, I strengthen my back when I'm at the gym. When I'm at home, I plank, I do push-ups, things like that. That always strengthens the back and the core as well. But as we come into this holiday season, whatever you celebrate, and I know a lot of you are Christians, you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to those of you that celebrate others, Happy Hanukkah for my friends that are Jewish. But as you come into this, it is just humankind, no denomination, no color, no religion, no separation that way, where serving becomes the forefront of our mind, right? We sit back and we look at the past 11 months of this year and maybe give thanks to your life. I hope you do. Thanks that you made it through another year. Thanks that you have your health, wherever that may be on the spectrum of good to bad, but you have it. Thankful for the good times, thankful for the bad times that make you appreciate the good times. But for some reason, this is the time of year where we start to give. And I wanted to ask you one question this week, and that is, what's your vibe? What vibe do you put out? And I say this, and this all ties together, because I truly believe that the vibe we give, or maybe you believe in an aura, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but there is something that you set out into that universe that kind of speaks to people. And those of you that I have talked to recently, or I've noticed you posted online, that you're really struggling with your health right now, that you're in pain, it's not as good as you thought it would be, especially if you're an amputee. I noticed there's a lot of people going, I wish that it was better. I thought it was going to be better by now. And I'm telling you right now that last week was probably one of my worst several days. I'd say 3 days, 2 to 3 days since becoming an amputee. And I am almost at 4 years of being an amputee. So again, you take the good with the bad. It'll never be normal. It'll never be the same. Even people with 2 legs, 2 arms get backaches or pull a muscle or get disabled at some point in time with pain. So I don't know why people that are amputees feel like everything should be hunky-dory. It's not. It never will be. I've told you guys that 1,000 times, if not 10. But it's what you do with that, right? the vibe that we choose to put out in the world, you'd be very surprised what can come of it. I have noticed, I'm normally a pretty happy person. I have my grumpy moments. You can ask my kids. I get hangry if I don't eat when I need to eat. But on the whole, I would say I'm a pretty happy person. I feel very blessed, very fortunate, to the point where it can bring me to tears just thinking about how lucky I am and where I'm at. And I know not everybody gets that feeling or has that vibe that goes on, but we can choose that path. And when we do, doors open. And I'm not kidding you when I say that I truly believe that the people I've met and the experiences that I've had, especially since becoming injured and then amputee and recovery, have led me to meeting the most amazing people with the biggest hearts that have completed my life. And I've enjoyed experiences like I never thought I could. And had experiences I never expected. And I truly 100% with all of my heart believe it's because of the attitude that I put forth about my life. I do not sit back and go, oh, poor me, I'm disabled, I'm crippled, I can't do anything, I need people to help me, bah humbug kind of a thing. It is, okay, you know what? This is my new life. This is how I'm going to handle it. I want to handle it with fierceness. That's why I say, let's unleash the warrior within you. If you're not a warrior, then you're going to struggle more. And warrior doesn't mean we're always on top. I guarantee you there are times when I crumble and I am in tears or I'm frustrated. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen to everyone. No one has the glamorous life 24/7, 365. That's not even possible. So forget what social media shows you and start living the life you want to live. You can do what you want to do. It's all up to your mindset, your power, your willpower, your warrior within. Unleash it. Let it be. Set those goals and get out there and crush it. Do what you want. And if you fail, so what? I'm the biggest perfectionist ever. And I have learned to deal with the fact that if I fail, that's okay. You know what? I have one less leg than most people. And if I can do things that some people with 2 legs can't do, then I'm feeling empowered and I'm feeling strong and I am a warrior. That's what you need to have. That vibe sets a chain reaction of amazing events and people entering your life that you would never know existed if you didn't look that way, act that way, show the world you're bigger and better than what happened to you. When I say this now, and I say we talk about serving, the one thing I have noticed that brings me the best and greatest joy is when I do things for others. That is just kind of my makeup. That's how I'm made up. That's my DNA. When I do things for others, I feel lighter than a feather. I am on cloud 9. I feel complete. I'm happy. I'm distracted from the reality of some of the pains that we go through as amputees and as people. So serving is a great distraction about your life because you know what? Guaranteed there's someone worse off than you out there in the world. There is. You don't have it as bad as you think you do. It's only how you perceive yourself because sometimes we get under a microscope and we refuse to look at the bigger picture. What is it that you can give to this world? Because I guarantee you, if you give, you're going to get back tenfold. I trust me on this. If you give any of your time, talents, energy, happiness to anyone you meet throughout the day, you will be rewarded with an enormous amount of joy and happiness and forgetting what's going on in your own life. So I'm making this short and sweet this week because there is so much going on in the world and the holidays are coming and they're approaching and I've got things going on. But I'm going to charge you this week. The call to action this week and this next month is to go out and serve somebody else. Forget and drop your woes and serve where you can serve. If you are completely incapacitated, you could pick up a phone and call a neighbor who's lonely, or a family member who's lonely, or a friend. You can get online and order a gift. You don't have to go out shopping. You can order something for somebody and send it to their door. You can even order food items like edible arrangements. Okay, by the way, I love those. Those are amazing gifts. Send that to someone to brighten their day. Send a flower. Even if you are wheelchair bound or stuck in your home, you can still serve. And I guarantee you, the joy you get back from serving will serve you. So get out there, people. Get out there and serve. Use your energy in the best possible way. Enjoy these holiday moments. Live for the moment that you're living in and be the warrior God meant you to be. You are all warriors. You all have it in you. I believe in you. Now go out and crush this week. And as always, be happy, be healthy, be you.